Now, the Chicago Bears just fixed their biggest problem, and it's not about a specific player. It's not about someone's performance during OTAs. It's about the Ben Johnson effect, and it's absolutely fantastic. And this new era, this new head coach, it's bringing some unique changes to the Chicago Bears in some new ways, some ways that would never have happened during the Matt Eberflus era. And this is according to a ton of team insider reports. We're even doing something different as far as training camp. The Bears aren't going to host one team. They're going to host two teams for joint training camp practices this year, the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And this is just following a pattern that we're seeing under this Ben Johnson regime. He's not going to coddle players. He's not going to accept errors and problems in practice and just gloss them over. Matt Eberflus was famous for allowing small mistakes to just kind of run their course in practice without hard correction. That's not what Ben Johnson is going to do, and it's also going to extend into off-season activities all the way into training camp. He's going to make it as difficult as possible for these players. He is going to beat this team into shape with fervor, with urgency, and I just absolutely love that he's going to be a little bit old school. He's going to make this training camp difficult for these players, and it's going to result in development. It's going to result in a smooth offensive flow that's been battle tested by the time this regular season starts. And what's up? This is Sports Talk Bears. I'm Sean. Have grown this channel so quickly. I have you to thank for it. We're pushing towards 10,000 subscribers, so do us a favor. It's a huge blessing. Hit the subscribe button if this is entertaining, if this is just a go-to for your Chicago Bears news, and I will continue to do it on the daily, I promise. So thank you so much, these guys. And you guys, and with this announcement, the Bears, with this regular season schedule, the Bears did announce that they'd play the Dolphins on Sunday, August 10th, and the Bills on Sunday, August 17th. And with both of these game slates, dual joint practices are part of the game. So we're kind of looking at a joint practice with Miami in the window of August 5 to 8, probably the 7th or 8th if I had to guess. And this isn't uncommon, right? It's not uncommon for teams to hold joint training camp practices. The Chicago Bears did it with the Bengals last year. It got rained out. They ended up inside. But two sets of joint practices is extremely rare, and this is intentional. Because our head coach, Ben Johnson, he obviously sees the value in lining up against not just guys from your own team, but some unfamiliar opponents in training camp. And it just makes a ton of sense. Why not, instead of waiting for the regular season, you're doing a completely new offense install. Everything's new. Bullets are flying. Why not break up the monotony of this? Why not get your players in front of some unfamiliar personnel, some unfamiliar schemes? I don't really see how this is a loss here. Breaking up the monotony day in and day out, and learning like the defense's tendencies as an offense, right? It doesn't necessarily always push you to the next level if you guys know each other so well and you start to learn the defensive scheme and vice versa. And it's not really an authentic situation that you can really grow an offense on the fly. So with this, there's going to be some familiarity. It's going to be a return for a few familiar faces. We're looking at the Bills' backup quarterback to Josh Allen, Mitch Trubisky. So we're going to practice with him. I hate even saying that name. And the Bills also have a couple former Bears players, but we're talking about Darrington Evans headlines those. Now you're looking for Miami. They actually have Bears players, recent ones. Larry Borum, James Daniels, he just came over from Pittsburgh, and Artie Burns. So within this structure, it's kind of a thought of what do the Bears need to do during these joint practices and what did they need to avoid? I mean, this upcoming season is going to unfold, and the Bears are looking at, they looked really good against the Bengals last year, especially on offense, but that said more about the Cincinnati defense being terrible, right? What the Bears need to find out here. They need to find out how far along they are in preparation, how far along they are in execution. And Johnson wants to see his guys run a smooth process faced with adversity before the regular season starts, and these two joint practices are the perfect opportunity. And we're looking at how Ben Johnson operates, right? He is all about being hard at work in the OTAs already, getting issues fixed, limiting these mistakes, and the players have already found out that Johnson, he does not mess around. He does not let little things slide. It's been all over the media how he just absolutely chewed Cole Kmet a new one for being lined up in the wrong spot, getting on guys for these little technique problems, these little wrinkles in their preparation. He is a stickler. He is hard-nosed. He is old school, but he is also fair, to couple with being a really good teacher, a guy that engages with his players, a guy that builds relationships as well. And I just think this is just going to be a really good match. And we're looking at Joe Thuney, newly extended. He really agrees. And when he was coming into Halas Hall and choosing the Bears as his destination, it really didn't take him long to gain confidence in what the Bears were on the verge of doing, which I agree they are too. He ended up signing a 2-year contract, and this is straight from Thuney. Everyone seemed to be really intense, and focused. It's something I want to be a part of. Guys working for each other, and everybody's trying to improve bit by bit. It's a process. It's really early, but I think guys like working here. It's been great. And that's really good for the Bears to hear, because the main thing here is changing this culture into a winning one. And Joe Thuney, he knows winning cultures. He spent all that time in Kansas City. Ryan Poles was there with him in Kansas City. He knows about winning Super Bowls. He knows about a locker room, how it should be constructed. He knows how things should be conducted. And if Joe Thuney is noticing early on that there's been a culture shift at Halas Hall, many other veteran players have echoed this as well. And this comes straight up with the arrival of Ben Johnson and this new coaching staff. It started kind of in 2 phases. Johnson and their staff, when the moment that they were hired, he publicly, clearly communicated his intentions, his standards on how he wanted the team to run. He immediately said, right, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That was his main quote. Clear vision, big breath of fresh air. And this is what defensive tackle Grady Jarrett had. And I think these are 2 of the best signings that the Bears could have ever done. You've got Joe Thuney setting the tone in the locker room on the offensive line. And then you've got a veteran like Grady Jarrett setting the tone on the defensive line. I think you have 2 ready-made team captains here that are going to make all the difference as far as how this culture is being built. So let's go straight to what Grady Jarrett had to say. This isn't a program where you try to be the guy's friends and hopefully they buy in. I absolutely love this. No, you have to get with it. I've been around for a long time, and that's the kind of culture you have to set early, because when the expectations are high, that's just what you want. And these expectations have already been set really high during the start of this 3rd phase. That's setting high intensity practices. I already talked about how Cole Kmet got his butt chewed just for simply lining up on the wrong side in a newly installed offense. And linebacker Tremaine Edwards, he's saying that the players have tried to match their coach's intensity on the field already early on in practice, that he's noticed players on both sides of the ball kind of having the mentality that they want to make plays at practice that impress their coach and also mimic his style of being detail-oriented. So it seems to already be sifting into the team culture. Wednesday, organized team activities. Linebacker Tremaine Edwards said that the players have once again tried to match their coach's intensity. So it's really interesting. And this is talking about defensive coordinator Dennis Allen as well. He's being mimicked as far as his style. And this is specifically what Edmonds had to say of Johnson. You want a coach that got energy like that, and you want a coach that cares about winning and winning in a dominant fashion. I definitely feel that energy from him now. And it was also, he stopped a play, was visibly upset when Cole Kmet lined up in the wrong spot. And players spent much of last year's disastrous 5-12 season, with a lack of intensity, with a coach that allowed mistakes. And one thing that you can tell when a team is poorly coached, those fourth quarter meltdowns. That's a team that's not being coached well. That's a team that is not paying attention to the details, and it ends up coming out in the wash. So at the very least, that is not going to happen. Whether it succeeds or fails, that type of nonsense is not going to happen under the watch of Ben Johnson. These things are going to be taken care of, and out of Edmund's mouth, it's going to be good. It's a journey, though, one day at a time, and I fully agree. So all these things are sounding great. They're lining up well. Ben Johnson is actually operating this team true to his word. I think we have a really good mix. I think we have the lines fixed, but cautiously optimistic as a Bears fan. We've been here before. Deja vu all over again. I think that's Yogi Berra, right? So let's wait to see the proof on the field in order to have full enthusiasm and full hopium for this season. In the meantime, we can just report on what we're seeing and what we're hearing. And it's all been really good. You guys, I will talk to you about it in the comments. As always, bear down, and we will talk soon. See ya.